Hi and welcome to Dressage Enlightenment Online. I'm Leanne Williams and we're in a different environment with Danny today. So you'll have a look around and you'll see, well before you have a look around, you'll see that we've got him in, it is actually our serving yard, so it's the yard that we put the mares in when we're collecting from the stallions, but it is our safest yard also to put horses in that we have an unknown quantity about. So one of the reasons why Danny came here was because he was struggling with the enclosed environment of the stable. And he was an excessive box walker. So when he first arrived, we integrated him into the box for a small period of time, and then we put him into, and Tash can pan around, if we go over to her left, we've got a weaning box. So he went into a larger environment where he spent 48 hours in there, and he definitely did walk the whole time he was in there. And then once we'd integrated him and felt that he wasn't going to hurt himself, we integrated him down, and Tash will have to go over the back, and you can see we've got training yards. We've got 12 training yards down there, and that's where the training horses go when they come to training. They're a very big space, and once he was in there, he settled very, very well. So he's been here for a week. Now, our normal process for working with the horses in the morning is bringing them into the undercover yards, and Tash can pan over to the horses in the undercover yards. They're the horses, and if you've gone through our website, you're going to be very familiar with them. There's Bob, Wilbur, Maggie, and obviously I'm here with Danny. So this morning, I felt that it was time to bring him out of the yard and get him to try and stand up with the other horses. Well, he's been out here in this yard, not tied up. All the horses get a hay bag, so they have their hay bag breakfast when they first come out of the yards, anywhere between 7 and 8. And then they come and then they wait for their turn to be worked. So we popped Danny in here, not tied up. I thought we'll just see what he does. And you can see how in the very small period of time he has just swung, and I've watched him back and forth. He hasn't hurt himself, but he's swung back and forth along the front of that yard. So what I'm going to do with my session today is exactly what we've been doing in the arenas, is getting him to breathe and lengthen his neck. What I'd like to do is remove the behaviour in environments that trigger the behaviour. So we know, I knew previously to him coming that enclosed very much triggered the behaviour. I also want him to look at the other horses and see that it's okay, that, you know, when he comes into a small space, that we're going to still look after his mind and we're still going to look after his body. So we're going to spend a bit of time here this morning, and I am going same exercises that I've done in the arenas, getting him to let his neck down. He's already started, with me coming in here, he's already starting to understand that when the cavesson comes on, it's an aid, it's something that aids us in helping him relax. And what it ultimately does is, even without the cavesson, relaxed posture. So to start off with, I'm going to do my normal exercises of getting him to stretch down. So we know he's a poorer. My one concern that I am about him being in here is that they kick a fence, because we were in quite a close space, but he hasn't predominantly been a horse that kicks out behind. He's just been a horse that paws the ground. So I'm going to do exactly the same exercises as I've been doing in the last week to get him to relax and getting him to stretch his muscles and getting him to think. Good. And then bring him back around, take him the other way. And it's almost as soon as I put this cavesson on, he's gone into a place of, okay, I get what we've got to do now. So now what I've got to do is get him to have exactly the same thought process when he's in here alone. So if I have success doing this for this 5 minutes, I'm going to go away and I'm going to go and work one of these other horses, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to do this again. I'm going to watch him and see whether he winds himself up. And his session actually is going to be with me in here, then me leaving him alone, then me in here, and then me leaving him alone. Seeing if day by day we can get him to, we've got a few days to the end of the week, if we can get him to be relaxed standing around in here. And ultimately I'd like him standing over there, but I wasn't completely convinced that we were going to keep him safe. So for me, safeness is of the utmost importance. And I'm going to just readjust him. You're going to look at his bottom for a while, because I'd like him to face his hay bag. One consolation that I do really, I'm very happy with, he has eaten his whole hay bag. So while he has swung back and forwards, he has managed to get food in his tummy. And so with these anxious horses, especially the thoroughbreds, one of the things that is exceptionally difficult is sometimes getting them to eat when they're anxious. He seems to be able to do both, so that's an added bonus. And you know, you can see we've got him as good as what we had him. Yeah, good boy. Good as what we had him in the arenas. And in fact, I think we've even got him better. But we aren't walking around. We are just standing still and asking for, yeah, I get it. Asking for just some changes. So I'm happy with that. Good. I'm going to leave him for probably 20 minutes now. And he's in the box here. So we're going to go and work another horse and we're going to come back. I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm back. We are with Danny. And instead of putting the cavesson on him, he was significantly more sedate when I came in. But I can still see there's been a bit of walking in the 20 minutes we've been gone. So, but instead of putting the cavesson, I think I can have exactly the same discussion with him now with the halter. And it'll give us a little bit of time to work on, you know, pole pressure, or is it that he can lower his head? We've got to get to the stage where we can put a bridle on. Good, I don't want him to push into me, so I can ask him to come backwards. And in my next break, I'm going to actually tie him up and see what happens when we come back. Good, so we're going to, I'm very happy with that, you know, he's breathing, everything's much, much happier. You know, we're going to move one of those horses out of there now, so that's going to change the environment. Anxious horses, when things change, always escalate the anxiety. So let's tie him up and then let's come back in 20 minutes time again and we'll see where we are. I'm just going to do a very basic slip knot and I'll see if I can keep his feet a little bit stiller. And you back in 20 minutes again and we'll see if Danny's still standing here. We are again, and I've just come down here and Tash can pan onto Danny. So Danny is exactly where I left him. He's tied up. My suspicions were that I was going to come back and he would have dug a hole to China. That's a long way from Australia. But he's in exactly the same place as I left him. So he's had his lessons for today. Tomorrow morning we're going to come back out and keep setting him up for success, setting him up to be able to go back to his life. His life realistically is a racehorse standing in a stable with, you know, integrated with times of rest. So if I can get him confident in that, if I can get him to conserve energy, he's yawning at the moment, if I can get him to conserve energy, if I can get him to enjoy his job, everything in regards to what he has to go through for the next few years will be much easier. And not only that, it makes him, once his job's done as a racehorse, it gives him a job after racing. So we spend this little bit of time here now, there's the boring, we spend this little bit of time here now and you know, if he's not successful as a racehorse, I believe his bloodlines say that he should be, that's why he's here. But I believe that if it doesn't end up being as successful as they want, we can do something with him really easily. We can, you know, replace him in a home with really solid foundation in his education. So watch me catch him, lead him back to his paddock. Tash will follow me. How's that, my little man? How was that? What a good boy. You get to go back and have brekkie. You get to go and have brekkie. I'm going to stop here just for a moment. One thing I haven't said in our work with him is that the day he arrived, we were too concerned about getting him off the truck and not being able to have control of him. So we dropped the tailgate about 3 metres away from a stable door. And that's how we got him out. We got him out of down the tailgate and straight into a stable. His anxieties were so strong and displaying overwhelming anxiety that you know, we didn't feel brave enough to take him out. So for me, 7 years later, this is awesome.